Lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From the original walk-ons, Burbank and Nicholson, welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff. Jimmy Ott is on vacation. Max Gotro is on vacation. Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. So for the moment here at Walk-Ons, flying solo, but not for long. Rohan Davey will be with us in hour number 2. Going to talk a little Sam Levitt, a little LSU football. Dwayne Colucci with us at the bottom of the hour. Matt Moscona, I promised today, is with us from SEC Media Days, and that's where we begin our talk today. Is Lane Kiffin on the 4th day of SEC Media Days took his turn first this morning. If you were expecting, and we said this at the end of the show yesterday, if you were expecting some really flamboyant, controversial, bulletin board, whatever you want to call it, from Lane Kiffin at the podium in the main room today, you were probably going to be disappointed if you were somebody outside of the LSU fandom. If you were with the LSU fandom, you were probably hoping that there wasn't much to come out of it that would spark another stir like the Vanity Fair thing or any of the other stories that were posted about him. Kiffin was we didn't expect that. We thought that given what happened in the wake of Vanity Fair and also the radio silence over the last couple of months would lend you to believe that it would be also what we observed in spring football, in the media gatherings that we had there, that this would not be something that would spark a lot of headlines, not a lot of bombastic stuff. And that's exactly what happened. It was a very measured Lane Kiffin, a thoughtful Lane Kiffin, talking about things like his relationship with his dad, who, of course, has passed, and reflecting on some of those things. Probably the biggest, and I don't even know if we're going to call this a story, but the biggest thing that I took out of this is he went through a lot of the things that he's talked about before, like alignment, and Nick Saban kind of backed that up after those comments, building depth. He talked about why he didn't bring Sam Levitt to media days. It was because he's running a players-only practice this morning. To be honest, that's a very convenient reason. They could have taken Levitt if they wanted to. We went through all that when they announced this last week. I don't think that it's a big deal. If Levitt wanted to go and had kind of stumped for it, I'm sure they would have taken him. This is a nice, like I said, a convenient reason to leave him home. Daniels didn't go to his first one. Burrow didn't go to his first one. This will probably be Levitt's only season in Baton Rouge. Him not going to media day is not a big deal, but to me, Kiffin certainly addressed that because he would have gotten that question. Like I said, the biggest story, I guess, is that his social media silence, which he confirmed and had before, that this was part of something that his son Knox had told him, that you can't live without it. You're addicted to it. And Kiffin said, well, I'm going to let you play. I'm going to play a clip here in a second. But Greg Sankey even came up with a funny line. He said we should all give Knox Kiffin a hug. This was Kiffin, who has sworn off, gotten off, deleted. No more social media for Lane Kiffin. This was what he said.
I think as I look back over my life, one of the things that has been great is subtracting things as you get older. And I think that's a big part of growth. And Knox one day he's like, Dad, there's no way you could get off social media. And if you know me, that's the best thing to do. My kids have learned that too. If they really want something, just say I can't do it, and I'm going to do it. And so I'm like, well, I bet I can. And it really wasn't a plan. And so I got off of all of it, and then it was still on there, and then I said, okay, I'm going to go to another level, and I just deleted the apps. And it was really interesting to see as I went through it, because Knox pushing me to do that, challenging me, allowed me to help other players, friends, coaches to say, man, you should try this sometime, because once you remove something from your life, you start to realize how many other people are addicted to it or need it. And to be free of that has been interesting because you don't compare. It's been an interesting study and a way of being more present.
I love this comment for a lot of reasons. First of all, if you've listened to the show at all, you know that I've got a pretty big love-hate relationship with social media. Mostly, I'd say about 99% on the hate side, because that's what social media does usually. It absolutely accelerates ignorance and hate and division, and a lot of times you're arguing with a bot, you're arguing with a wall, you're arguing with somebody who does not have anything invested in this. And I would ask, him, and if we ever get, some, time with him before, I'll ask the question: what has social media done to help you in recent times? I can buy that, when social media first came in and Kiffin was at that point in his coaching career, that there may have been times where Lane Kiffin was discovered by people, recruits even, that didn't know him. And I'm talking about, you're going back 18 years before he was the head coach at Tennessee, or before he was the head coach with the Raiders, or right about that time when Twitter was getting in there, right about the time he was at Tennessee. Were there people that discovered him? Were there recruits that discovered him? Was the publicity good for him at that point? And maybe it was in 2009, in 2015, maybe even in 2020. I would ask if it's doing him any good now. Obviously, he doesn't think it is. Is there a recruit out there that's going to discover Lane Kiffin at this point in his career on social media and go, man, I didn't know that guy? Is there anything to be gained from trolling anybody, another coach, a media personality, or are you just wasting a lot of time? And, there have been times where I've gone long stretches. I'm in one right now, enjoying the hell out of it, of removing yourself from social media. And I would just ask him, and I think I know the answer based on what he said there. Is social media going to help you win any games at LSU? Is it going to help one player? Is it going to help one coach? Is it going to help promote all of that? All those mechanisms are in place, okay, without him being on social media. Obviously, he agrees. I think it's a fantastic thing. I think it narrows his focus to the things that really matter. I said the same thing when the Vanity Fair article came out. How does this help you? What is this advance? Because his time is valuable. He's got 100 kids, and I've lost track of how many staff that are in that building. They all work for him. He's got an athletic director and a president and an SID and, political figures, that the board of supervisors, all these people that are clamoring for just a little bit of his time. And if you're using it for this, how does this benefit you, spending 2 days with a reporter from a non-sports related magazine? And I would argue that it doesn't. And it also gives you the opportunity to be put in a bind. He got put in a bind with a question that he answered honestly, but in a publication like Vanity Fair, it's going to lack context. If you are reading Vanity Fair as one of their primary readers, you don't have a whole lot of perspective on recruiting black athletes in the Southeastern Conference. This is a 50, going on 60-year topic. If you gave me a Vanity Fair and said, flip to another article in this publication, and here's comments on the last 50 years of fashion design, I don't have a clue. Okay, so all I know is what I read in that article, and that can be easily blown. So these things that don't matter, that are not helping you win, hey, if you're eliminating those things, you're halfway to where you want to go as a coach at LSU. So I thought that was good. If he decides to go back on at some point, I'm sure that there'll be a reason for it, but that was the biggest takeaway that I had from this thing is not only have I been off of social media for the last couple of months, I've deleted the apps. That to me signals I'm done with that. I'm sure that there's somebody in public relations over at LSU that's breathing a sigh of relief for that, because it's one less fire that they got to put out. Kiffin talked for a long time. Generally in that main room, you're given somewhere around 25 minutes to talk. Kiffin talked for, I think it was 16. They clocked him. So there were only 4 questions that were able to be asked. This is Public Relations 101. That room is filled with questions that will provoke a response that, again, maybe he doesn't have time to give the proper context on. And this 16 minutes that he went on there, that's 16 minutes that he's not going to take a question that he's already answered about leaving Ole Miss, about why he took this job, about the comments that he made in the article, or any of the other things that might be the gotchas. This is, again, right out of the handbook. Politicians use it all the time. If you've already answered the question and you're just going to belabor the point again, then you control the conversation. And he did a really good job of controlling the conversation today. We didn't even get to the football yet, but we're going to do plenty of that. But this is what, Lane's going to face when he faces a room full of reporters at this, juncture before he even coaches a game. The other one I wanted to play for you here in the opening segment is the alignment, and I thought that this was really important because it was backed up by Nick Saban after he said it. But this was Kiffin talking about how things have aligned for him at LSU.
One of the things that has really stuck out to me has been the alignment at LSU from the top down, from President Roos to Verge Osbury, athletic director, to our board of supervisors. That alignment has been great from the first time I met with them. And then a lot of times schools recruit just like coaches do. And then is it that way when you get there? And it's been amazing. That alignment and commitment to building a championship program has been great.
Sounds like a cliche, right? But if you've been around here for a while, you understand how important that is. And Saban talked about it when they went to the panel after Kiffin got off of the podium. We have seen so many times in the last 25 years, going back to Saban at the beginning of his, where the president of the university was not getting along with the athletic director, or the athletic director was not getting along with the football coach, or the governor or somebody on the board of supervisors wasn't getting along with the hierarchy at LSU. I've seen it with my own two eyes, an athletic director and a football coach pulling on opposite ends of the rope. I've seen it a number of times where somebody in that administration was just waiting for the day when the other guy got fired. If you got everybody on the same end, pulling on the same end of the rope, don't think that is a given, because we've seen way too many times when it's not. Way too many times when an athletic director withheld resources because they frankly weren't all that interested in the football coach having success. That happened here. We watched it, okay? We watched presidents and athletic directors have very different views on what was going to happen next with the football program in regards to the coaching position or a coaching search. Having everybody aligned may seem like a very small thing. As Saban pointed out, as Kiffin pointed out, and as I will back this up to the hilt, it is very, very important, because it's hard enough. You got enough people shooting against you. If you have seen the enemy and he is you, he's inside your building, he's on your campus, man, you want to talk about make an impossible job even tougher. That's what you get. We've seen that before. Right now you're not seeing it. Now, they ain't lost a game yet either, okay? Everybody has their own agendas, but at least for now, everybody's on the same page, and that's a really good thing to hear. We're at the original walk-on. Some of the new menu items that we've been tasting here this summer, the Mango Tuna Bowl, that's one of Jimmy's favorites. It's a very, very light but really, really flavorful Mango Tuna Bowl. The Southwest Chicken Bowl, also very, very spicy. My favorite is the Sweet Chili Shrimp Bowl that you can get here. This is all the they call them the scoring bowls here at the original walk-ons. We're also doing your fantasy football rollouts, fantasy football drafts right around the corner. A lot of specialty offer items here to get your fantasy football draft. We'll be telling you about those during the course of the show today. And obviously this is the best day to be on game day. We spent many a game day here at Walk-Ons. It's less than a mile walk to LSU. Come in, see all the games, get yourself a cold beer, get yourself a nice meal before you head on over to Tiger Stadium, or after the games. Of course, the perfect place to be here at Walk-Ons, corner Burbank and Nicholson. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Relief windows for windows, vinyl, storm impact windows, wood windows. That's like I had to. If your homeowners association requires wood windows like mine does, there is only one solution. You got to go to Relief Windows. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. I've had them for about 6 or 8 years. They are built to last in these extreme southern Louisiana weather conditions. They look brand new. They're functional on a nice fall or spring day. I love opening it up, getting some fresh air. Functional, look great, and they are no signs of deteriorating at all. Not the same with normal wood windows. It's not a cheap procedure, so do it right the right time and don't have this recurring cost a little bit later down the road like I did. Yeah, I was in the market for I sure wish I'd have used Relief Windows with the original construction of my homes. For windows, doors, siding, shutter, and shades, go to reliefwindows.com. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Relief Windows, 288-8138.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. Brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026. Supporting our Louisiana farmers as part of the Climate Smart program. Go to SupremeRice.com. We're here at the original Walk-Ons. You're getting ready for your fantasy football draft. Sign up here at Walk-Ons. Your commissioner will get a $25 bonus card along with a lot of Bud Light swag, which includes your draft board. Fantasy football bundle specials include 50 boneless wings, your 48-ounce chips and queso, 2 pitchers of beer, and they will all be on special here. Got nice side rooms, or if you want to be outside on the outside patio, you got that option for you if the weather is nice. Getting your fantasy football drafts together be here very, very shortly. In fact, there are some NFL teams that are in camp today, including the Carolina Panthers, who've already had an injury on the very first day of camp. You got to hate it when it starts like that. But get your fantasy football drafts in gear here at the original Walk-Ons, the first here at Burbank and Nicholson. A little bit more from Lane Kiffin. Well, this is what he started with the last 7 months at LSU.
So these 7 months at LSU have been awesome. It's been amazing, to come into Baton Rouge and the state of Louisiana and the acceptance and how great they've been to my family. And the commissioner talked about, to have a son, Knox, playing on campus, and every morning they practice, and then he just can walk over from practice onto campus is really special, and how the community's been to us as family and the state. Over 7 months, just seeing that Louisiana is built off hardworking people that are really passionate and love football. And I think that really fits in well with our staff and the values and principles that we bring into our organization, into our football program. So that's been great. And there's so many things to do in Baton Rouge and then New Orleans right up the road. It's been great for our staff and for their families.
I think Knox is going to be a real, I don't want to say asset, because obviously that he's family. I think that Knox being right there on campus, at least because he put it in the introduction. Sankey talked about that. He's over at U-High. It seems like having him right there is a comfort level for Lane. Of course, he was like that in Oxford too, but I think he sort of appreciates the proximity. It's really, really helped him. The second thing he was asked, once we get past the alignment and some of the other things, was about the 9-game schedule, something that Kiffin has been pretty strongly against, and here's why.
My concern was about the 9 games is that you're going to lose non-conference games. Teams will eventually get out of the bigger non-conference games because the selection process is not fixed. Until that is fixed, to really, truly reward strength of schedule, I was against it, because I think what you're going to have is more conference losses, and you don't prove anything. We're all in the same conference. We keep playing each other. We don't really prove that we're better than anyone else, and we're taking away out-of-conference games. So I just think that it's going to cause issues that we've already seen, until we can get to a world where people can actually look at teams and say, that team that is 9-3 with their schedule as a better team than that 11-1 in a different conference, which now I think we aren't even close to doing that. I think it causes a problem.
I agree with just about everything that he said there. The one point I would differ is that I think there's a clear line between a 9-3 or a 10-2 team from the SEC or the Big Ten and one from a non-power league, okay? There was nobody that was going to put Tulane or James Madison up near the top of that board last year, that playoff board, regardless of what their record was. But I agree with everything else that he said. What he's looking for, though, is subjective. Is there somebody that's subjective enough to look at it and say a 9-3 Texas team is better than somebody else that is 11-1 out of one of the other power leagues? Well, that's an argument, that's a discussion that is never going to end. It's always going to be about one person's view. So you get a committee. Well, you don't like what the committee said. Well, let's let the computers do it. Well, we did that. It's never going to be something where you have the perspective of just your league, unless you branch off and do it all by yourself, and you don't have the perspective of the other leagues. You're never going to get. The Big Ten's always going to look at it from their standpoint, the SEC from their standpoint, and so forth. The other part that I agree with him on, though, is that this is until you get a little bit more emphasis on strength of schedule, it's still going to be about wins and losses, and it still is. So even if you're Texas is the great example here. You're 9-3, and one of those losses was to Ohio State, but you're going to lose out to a 10-2 team. I don't know that that's ever going to be fixed. So it's a wonderful thing to talk about. In the meantime, though, you've already seen LSU take some steps to scale it back, to put it in what the current format rewards. Okay, the games against a top 5 team on the road to open the season, that's done, man. You ain't going to see no more Clemsons. You're not going to see LSU play in Oregon in Dallas. I don't think Florida State's down right now, but I don't think that this coach or this athletic director would have scheduled Florida State in a neutral, a New Orleans and Orlando thing, given where Florida State might be. So I think you're going to see them scale it back. You're going to see more of these power teams on the schedule look more like SMU and Houston and less like Clemson and Oregon. And you're also going to see they've already moved into week 0. That's something we've urged them to do for a while. It may not be as big of a deal if they go to a schedule where everybody gets 2 byes eventually, but even if you don't, getting that week 0, what will eventually I think be called week 1 again, with a non-conference game against an in-state school in Tiger Stadium to get yourself fully aligned, we're still using that word, I think that you're seeing what this coach and this athletic director want to do. So I'll enjoy the big games. We love them. I would love to see the rental wins go away completely, but given that that's not going to happen, you're seeing them get themselves aligned with what they want to do. One more before we go to break. I want to go to Charlie Weiss and what Kiffin talked about him. And, Jordan, if you could go 14-15 here. This was Kiffin giving Weiss an awful lot of credit to what goes on offensively.
He had a hard decision too, be where he was at. And then he went back, even though he came with me, then he went back, and then they tried to get him to stay again, and that wasn't easy for him because he was in the, we kind of call that utopia moment there of everything going great and winning, and then stuck with it and came back. So I'm just really proud of him for how far he's come. He does our whole offense. I get all this credit and everything. I've said it before. I'm in there in the meetings. We bounce things off each other. I chime in on game days, but Charlie nowadays does the whole thing. And as crazy and as chaotic as that whole postseason was and going back and forth and stuff, I'm really happy how it happened that he got the credit, offensively when I wasn't there, for couple games in the playoffs and how well they did on offense. That was awesome to see.
I'm glad that he gave Weiss credit, and I think that Weiss has come a long way as, maybe the primary play caller, but that alignment again. When Les Miles was here, we used to talk about, maybe somebody else is calling the plays, but they're only calling what Les allows them to call. I told that story about the spring many times where we were down the sidelines and he's, hey, you can call whatever play you want, but make sure Michael Ford gets the ball. I think that, Les signed off on a lot of things on Thursday and also made it very clear what he wanted done. Well, that was prohibitive back at that time. Here, what you got is, maybe Charlie Weiss is calling most of the plays. Maybe he's calling all of the plays on game day. But he's calling the plays that he and Kiffin have picked. He's calling them in a rhythm that he and Kiffin are both comfortable with. When Kiffin signs off on the game plan, it's things that both of these guys and the quarterback are all comfortable with. And one of the things that Saban also said today, and I want to ask Rohan about, is the reason that Kiffin has been able to go from quarterback to quarterback with such success is that he makes it very simple for the quarterbacks, as simple as it can be for a quarterback who's got to keep all of this information in his head. If he can simplify that and make it easy, that means that the quarterback can play faster. If he can do that through Charlie Weiss, which is what he's suggesting here, if Weiss is able to make that connection with Sam Levitt very, very quickly, then all the better for LSU. So there's a few more comments from Lane Kiffin here opening up at SEC Media Days. We're also brought to you by the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store, open in LaRose and Lockport. This week we're talking about lawn and garden essentials on special at the website. Save up to 50% on many of your lawn and garden essentials, your hoses, your tools, your potting soils, your fertilizers, your seeders, your spreaders, all of them up to 50% off at thethibodeaustore.com. As always, outdoor cooking equipment, all the accessories available there, cordless power tools and power equipment, lawn and patio furniture, poolside furniture available for you at the Thibodeau Store. If you're going fishing, you're heading down to the coast here as we wind towards the end of the summer, stop at the Thibodeau Store and 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. Pick up your fishing gear. Custom-made cypress furniture, rockers, swings, benches, gliders, all of them available at the Thibodeau Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, and online, thethibodeaustore.com. Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive at 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins, between Perkins and I-10. It's the only place I take my vehicle. Jason Payne, going to give you an honest deal. Not going to upcharge you for unnecessary work. Now, because of it, he has so much repeat business that it's busy. If you bring it in and it's too busy at that time, he will schedule a more convenient time for you and for them. So you're not just sitting around. You come in, they want you busy, and you just sit there and wait and wait and wait for hours upon hours upon hours. Not going to happen at K&M Automotive. Tell them you heard it right here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. My buddy Jason Payne at K&M Automotive, 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins, across Segan from Ambrosia Bakery.
It's Lock of the Week Friday. It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You see that even the computer is ready for football season. Wants to go straight to Lock of the Week Friday. Colucci, how you doing, man?
How you been, Joe? Everything's going good here in Vegas. A little hot though today, I'll tell you. The heat is stifling.
What's a little hot? Let's see. It's 9:30 in the morning there, so I'm going to take a shot at this. 99 degrees.
My computer says 96, but yeah,
okay.
I'd say you're a lot closer because it was supposed to hit 114. I think today they adjusted it, so we're going to get one. A rough week, and it's been a little humid. If it's Charlie, 35% humidity here, it's tough to breathe.
And we deal with it at higher levels than that. The temperatures don't get as high here. One of the first times I ever went to Vegas, I got in a cab and it had the temperature on the rear view, and this was after the sun had gone down. It was probably 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and it read 111. I remember that to this day. It's like, man, the sun's gone. The sun's already down, and it's still 111 degrees. The temperature itself is not as high here, but the humidity is stifling. So, especially on days like yesterday, you get a rain, and man, it like you said, it's tough to breathe. You know what I'm happy about, Kaluch? I'm happy that I don't have to go out and practice football in this, because I don't think I would do very well. It's been a long time.
Kids practicing today?
No,
Baton Rouge?
no.
Not yet?
LSU's about a week, a little over a week and a half away from starting practice. But you know who did start practice today is the teams that are in the Hall of Fame game, which is 2 weeks from tonight. Not that we're gonna, not that we are going to do a whole lot of handicapping on the Hall of Fame game, but NFL football 2 weeks from tonight, they will actually be playing. So you can see it from here. The Saints are going to camp next week. I think everybody will be in camp by this time next week, and we'll have an actual preseason football game 2 weeks from today. You guys got to be getting ready.
Yeah, definitely. We got 1.5. The Panthers minus 109 here at Caesars and the Resort at Summerlin. Total 35.5. So we're geared up. We got it up, and we're ready to go. So you know how it is here in Vegas. We never sleep, and especially with the expanded menu that we have now, Charlie, with Caesar Sports. It's just unbelievable. They put up events way ahead of time. So definitely check out that app. It's incredible, and we're going to have a ton of player props. I was just loading the racks with the win totals and to make the playoffs and odds, just getting everything in order before I go to Del Mar.
Well, yeah, I haven't gotten a report on exactly how well or poorly he's doing. I'll just get the whole. I get the whole dossier when he gets back. But let me ask you about you talked about some of the changes, more offerings. How does it change what you're doing as you get ready for football season with the new affiliation?
Yeah, well, it's definitely Charlie. It's definitely more foot traffic, and you get more smaller bets, I would say, than the affiliation with South Point because. We had some huge bettors that played here with South Point, and they just loved what Chris did and the odds, when they would go up. They'd be sitting here, waiting for, like vultures, basically waiting for the lines to go up. But with Caesars, they usually put up the week ahead of time, maybe even more. And, you just get more of the smaller consumer looking to bet those prop bets, especially with the player props, win totals, stuff like that. And you can parlay most of those things. So it becomes very attractive, and we get a tremendous amount of volume on the kiosks as well. We got 21 kiosks now on property here at the Resort at Summerlin, so everybody will not get shut out, basically, and have an opportunity to get down, favorite player, favorite team, what have you. And they also take the race bets. So, the kiosks are very convenient. We've had a ton of mobile signups, too. The mobile application for Caesar Sports is just incredible. I can't say it enough. And, a lot of our business now comes through the mobile app, whereas Michael Gorn had a philosophy to get you in the door. We'd offer, the 10-cent line and stuff like that with South Point, and then enjoy the amenities of the South Point or the Resort at Summerlin. So, kind of a different outlook. Caesars loves the mobile application action. And Michael Gorn didn't like it so much. So it's almost a 360, but, very, very busy and very consistent.
What are some of the more popular preseason bets? And I don't mean on the preseason games. I'm talking about like season-long props. Any of them that have, I guess, higher action right now that have caught your attention, or some of the ones that you like?
Yeah, definitely. The regular season win totals are what we keep our eye on constantly. And all of a sudden, the Rams are a focal point in the market. 11.5 minus 125 on the over. So we're starting to see a lot of action there on the Los Angeles Rams, and rightfully so. We're in close proximity to California. The Eagles always, they're up there. 10.5, but we're shading the plus 125 on the over on that one. So not a minus, but a plus on the over. Eagles shaking up the lineup a little bit this year. We're going to see how that plays out, if Sirianni could control the locker room and so forth. And naturally, the other California team, San Francisco 49ers, 10.5, plus 105 on the over. So a lot of action there. Seattle, 10.5, minus 130 on the over. So those are some of the teams, and I'm talking mostly West Coast teams that we're seeing a tremendous amount of action. Unlike, Buffalo last year, we got them now set at 10.5, but the vig is minus 140 on the over. So, we'll gauge and see if we can make that move to 11 and then make it more appealing on the vigorous side. But, they're definitely the focal teams, and always Lamar takes a ton of action. He's set at 11.5 with his Baltimore Ravens, despite the coaching change. So we're going to see how that plays out. Big there is plus 130, though, so you could get a little plus if you think they could win 12 games this year. But, the AFC is definitely wide open.
Let me back up on the Rams here for a second, because last year a lot of people, and I was one of them, thought that, 2 weeks into the playoffs, the Rams looked like the best team in the NFL. They came up just a little bit short. There wasn't a lot of difference between them and Seattle, but I thought that the Rams were better. They ended up, not quite getting there, and the Seahawks win the whole thing. They make the biggest offseason acquisition. They get arguably the best defensive player in football in Myles Garrett. The Aaron Donald rumors won't go away, that he may 2-3 weeks into training camp say, you know what, I'm coming in, and he's only a year, removed from this thing. And then they got to start the season in Melbourne, Australia against the Niners. This is one thing Jimmy and I actually agree on, I understand why the NFL is doing it, but, man, this could be a game that ends up determining home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. And it's a home game for the Rams, but they got to play it however far away Melbourne is, 10,000 miles or whatever. This is a huge game right at the beginning for a team that might be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely. And I just don't get it with the NFL. I mean, it's full circle of business now, Charlie, but putting teams at a certain disadvantage, like you said, this is counting as a home game, and you have to travel 10,000 miles, like you said. So it's not a home game, and the NFL just trying to make money constantly. It puts a little damper on the schedule. There's so many overseas games this year, and it just won't stop. And I understand that you sell out the stadiums for this one game, but I mean, is the merch really worth this? Is it worth possibly tarnishing a Super Bowl chance for the Rams and the 49ers both? I mean, I don't get it at times. I think they're overdoing it now with the European basis. I mean, they might as well start, expanding and putting teams in Europe and see if they could compete traveling across the Atlantic and so forth. So, it's just, another tarnish and trying and expand the NFL schedule. It gets a little tiresome because it is tough to handicap these games from a consumer's point of view, and it's also tough for us to put up the lines on these games. I mean, who's playing and who's going to be on the field, but you don't know what condition they're going to be in, how they adapt to time changes, different climates, different, scenarios, staying in a hotel for an extended period, working out on these fields that you really don't know what the condition is as much as we do back here in the States. So it's definitely full circle now with the NFL being a business, in my opinion. But, we're going to put the lines up and take the action on these games, Charlie. But like you and Jimmy said, it's a great point, and it definitely puts a large emphasis on a game that's not basically played in the States.
Let me ask you about two teams that have, besides the Saints, that have a lot of local interest, and that's Cincinnati and Washington because of the two former Heisman Trophy quarterbacks from LSU that are there. The Bengals have made some really expensive and extensive additions to their defense. They kept most of the offense in place. Joe Burrow thinks that they've got the best team that they have since he's been there. Maybe a little hyperbole, I don't know. And then Washington, who Jaden Daniels could not have been any better in his rookie season, got him all the way to the championship game. And last year it just seemed like they could never get on track. They were never completely healthy, and things kind of stalled for him. So he goes into year 3. Some totals and some thoughts on the Bengals and the Commanders.
Yeah, the Bengals we have at 10.5 and plus 115 on the over. I mean, Joe Burrow definitely is talking with confidence this year, but it's all about his health and how many hits can he take. The offensive line has to protect this man. I don't care how many offensive weapons you have. If you improve the defense, you need him on the field, and that's definitely the measuring stick of the Cincinnati Bengals. And you could see, 10.5 is a very, very high total. We just discussed how Baltimore is at 11.5. That's only one win behind them. But it is definitely how long Joe Burrow, and if he could stay the whole season underneath center, that'll definitely enhance their chances. And then you start to look at them as a potential Super Bowl candidate. They've been there already, and, it's just been a drop-off just because of the fact that he's been hurt, and they can't protect this man. Washington, it looks like a bounce-back year. Jaden was just fabulous, like you said. His rookie season last year was a complete catastrophe. That division right now is wide open. You don't know the status of Scatterboo and Neighbors on the Giants. Dallas will be there. Their total is 9.5, so, it's always right there in the middle. If they could, surround Dak with some solid play, they may be able to make some noise. And like we said, Philly is in a change, so you don't have Brown there. It's going to be a lot more pressure on Hurts, and Hurts seemed to, fold a little under the pressure last year and make some bad decisions. But we'll see if they can bounce back as well. But Washington is at 7.5, which I think is pretty low. Over is -120. I would take a shot with the Commanders bouncing back because I think Daniels is a fabulous, fabulous talent. And, both of those guys are LSU products that we just talked about. So let's see what they can do.
Yeah, with Daniels last year, I never felt like he was completely healthy. After maybe, say, September for sure. But they were able to run the football last year, even without him. And they've added Rachaad White. I think that enhanced running game, they were good a year ago. They were the fourth best rushing team in the league. And Daniels himself only rushed for 278. So it wasn't like he had to carry them rushing. I think that rushing attack is going to be better this year. They've made some adjustments up front. I think that helps him an awful lot. Now I gotta ask if he's got enough in the receiving core. Because Deebo Samuel was a little bit of a disappointment. And Terry McLaurin, I think, can bounce back and have a good year, but he's got to stay healthy, too. That was another one of their problems a year ago. Kaluch, we always appreciate the time. Safe travels down to Del Mar, and tell Jimmy if he's ever stuck, you know what, second choice across the board, always a safe play.
That's right, Charlie. You have a great one, and thanks for having me on, and say hi to everybody at Baton Rouge.
We'll do it. Dwayne Colucci here with us on Thursdays. We are at the original Walk-Ons, Burbank and Nicholson, live at lunch. Roy and Davey going to join us in hour number 2, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. At United Community Bank, your business is our business. We support the hardworking folks behind local business, all the way from initial startup loans to ongoing planning and assessments. United Community Bank is here for you. Prentice Wilkes, Heath Muir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. Stop on by and discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at the original Walk-Ons live at lunch. Again, schedule your fantasy football draft here at Walk-Ons. A nice bonus from our friends over at Bud Light. You get a commissioner's bonus card along with a draft board and a lot of Bud Light swag, plus specials during the fantasy football drafts on boneless wings, chips and queso, pitchers of Bud Light, all here at Walk-On. Schedule your fantasy football draft now for either the outdoor patio, the side room here at the original Walk-Ons. I don't have this audio, but I did get this this text. And so I want to read this because I think that this is finally the answer that the national media has been looking for from Lane Kiffin, just so that they will let this go. At some point, I think this might be it. ESPN got him off to the side. Like I said, I don't have the audio, but I do have the text. And they asked him if he regretted how he left Ole Miss. And he said, yes, I do. I wish I would have gone in when I met with Keith and said, I've made a decision to go. And I wish he would have just said, when I said, I'd like to coach the team, when he said no, I'd say, okay, I appreciate it. and I'd move on and we'll never discuss it again. I was trying to do the impossible. Okay, this is really the answer that they've been waiting for, just some kind of mea culpa. And they were just going to beat on his head until they got it. And he gave a great analogy, okay, from a motivational speaker that he works with. He said, the motivational speaker, whose name is Kevin Elko, said, what you're trying to do is be in a marriage that you thought was great for 6 years, but then you're leaving, and you're going to be with another woman that she absolutely despises. And then you go in and say, let me stay in the house for a couple more weeks with the kids, and maybe I'll bring some of the kids with me to go be with her. You're okay with that, right? Anybody who's ever broken up out of a relationship knows, man, that ain't working. Okay, that is dead on arrival. If he would have said that 6 months ago, and we bring in Rohan Davey, he's here a little bit early. Ro, man.
That ain't working.
No, that has got no shot to fly. When you put it in those terms, that's the answer. And we're up against the break, so we can talk about this when we come back from the top. That's the answer that I think Ole Miss wanted, LSU kind of wanted, the national media wanted. If he gives that answer 6 months ago, I think it calms down a lot. If it had played out that way, so. I wish I'd have had the audio, but we'll talk more about that when we come back here at the top of the hour. Rohan Davey joins us from the original walk-ons, Burbank and Nicholson, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original walk-ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at the original walk-ons. Come on out and check out some of the new menu items that we've been munching on this summer, including the mango tuna bowls. Very, very light but flavorful tuna. One of Jimmy's favorites. Southwest chicken bowl, also outstanding. And my favorite is the sweet chili shrimp bowl. All of the scoring bowls available here at the original walk-ons. Schedule your fantasy football drafts for August right now here at Walk-Ons. Bring in former LSU quarterback Rohan Davey helping us out today. Ro, man, good to see you. How you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Wonderful.
Your summer been good?
Summer's been good. No complaints out of me, man. You know, it's a lot hot.
Yeah.
It's hot as hell. I know that.
Notice that myself.
Goodness.
When Lane Kiffin went up to talk today, and one of the things that he brought up was people had asked, why didn't you bring Sam Levitt? And he said, well, Levitt is running today a players-only practice. So, okay, that's convenient. It's a nice – they could have brought him if they'd have wanted to. They decided not to. But I want to start with these workouts in the summer. Here all the time, quarterbacks run summer workouts. This is very important. You're a quarterback. You did this. Give me an idea of what a summertime worth of quarterback run workouts is like.
Well, let me tell you, when we had the quarterback run, it was workouts. It was a lot different than they were now. You know what I mean? But all it is it's almost like organized team activities for the NFL, but you can't have it in college. But what you can do is, as the quarterback, as the safety, whoever the leader is on whatever side of the football, especially the quarterback on the offensive side, you set a time. And different days it might be a different thing. One day maybe we're working on 1st and 10 calls. Another day maybe we're working on 3rd and long throws. Another day maybe 2-minute that we're doing that day. So he's just out there and he has a script of the plays that you would run in those situations. And they're basically just going over all those situations for, however long they designate that for. And it's ran solely by the quarterback. If it's on defense, it's ran solely by whoever that guy is, whether it's the middle linebacker, the safety, whoever it may be. But don't get it twisted now. They go over the script with the coaches before they go out and do what they need to do. But it is ran by the players. And the most important part about that on both sides, bro, honestly, is you just hear honest communication between everybody. So I'm talking to the wide receivers, the the running backs are listening to see who's progression. Everything that we're talking about, though, I'm telling them, hey, if he's here, I want you to run it this way. If he's here, we're going to do it this way. You're telling your second option, hey, remember, you're the second option, so you may have time to work this defender because I'm not looking at you first. So it's all those things. I mean, offensively is very beneficial because everyone's there talking, and the guys that probably wouldn't talk if the coach was there, now those guys have an opportunity that they feel empowered now that they could actually talk.
And that was kind of you answered my question before I answered, is who's making the corrections, okay? You get I'm just going to use an example here. Sam Levitt, who has not been in this offense before but is the quarterback and is running these things. Winnie Watkins, who is from Ole Miss, okay, has been in this system before. All right, so they run a route, and it's not exactly what they're not on the same page. So who's making the correction there? The quarterback that is running this thing, or the receiver that's been in the offense?
Well, I think the quarterback is gonna let him know whatever the correction is, and then Watkins is gonna let him know what either Lane wants or how they did it before, and then we're gonna meet in a happy medium, and then ultimately it's gonna get back to they're gonna do it again, and either they're gonna do it in front of the wide receivers coach or it's gonna be done in front. Well, Lane deals with the wide receivers a lot, so he's gonna see that, and they're gonna self-correct that together. Watkins going to let him know from his experience of being at Ole Miss and being in the system, and then Levis from being a quarterback, he may understand it, but he may be like, okay, well, that may be how Chambers did it. I may want you to do something different. Okay. So it's going to be, where they continue to talk about it. And that's what these summers are for. Get that stuff ironed out.
So my first question was about the corrections. My second question would be about reps. There's 11 new guys in this receiver room. You go out there, you talk about the heat, man, okay? These practices need to be concise because there's only so much time you can put out there. So when you got 11 guys and they all trying to establish a rapport with the new quarterback, who decides how you dividing up reps? And because that can get kind of combative at times. These guys are all competing for PT.
Well, the one thing off top, we let them know is going into it, there's no number ones, number twos, number threes. There's nobody.
Somebody's got to go with the first group, though, right?
Yeah, I understand that, but you establish that by you four today, you four today, you four. Like, this isn't like off-season time right now. Isn't the time when you have numbers. You don't have ones and twos. When we come out to throw, it's hey, you in that group, you in that group, you in that group, and then we rotate when we go through the next series. So you get with that quarterback, you get with that quarterback, and then it's. Those guys have to understand that even now when you got guys training and working out by themselves, those guys understand that I have 11 guys in the room. Some way we have to separate ourselves. Is it my work ethic? Is it catching every ball that comes to me? Like whatever it is that they have to work on. Am I a slot? Am I outside? So it's all those little things right now. The numbers as far as like where you are in the pecking order, them coaches going to decide that when we come to camp. You know what I mean? Right now when we working, it's reps. No matter where you are. If you 4-2, it doesn't matter. We just trying to get reps with everybody. Now, don't get it twisted. Levis might have had a conversation with Lane or whoever and be like, make sure you get 50 throws with James or whatever it may be. And that's something that they may do individually, talk through it, going there late at night, early in the morning, that type of thing, when he want to get with individual guys. Or you go to them and be like, hey, you four come with me next Tuesday morning at 5 a.m., meet me at the indoor. Like, that's how you do little things like that. So guys are still getting reps. And don't get it twisted, Hanny. The guys that's there in that 11, they know who the dogs are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you finished with these workouts, before you started camp, but when you were finished with these workouts, and you got the benefit now, being older, and you saw how this all worked. Did you know coming out of those workouts what kind of year you were going to have? Did those workouts mirror what actually ended up happening in camp, or did you end up being surprised sometimes?
Well, with the guys, I probably came out of it knowing, hey, we got some talent, but not knowing how it's going to go when the lights come on for some guys.
Yeah.
But going into it, I was like, hell, we could stay healthy. we're going to have a chance.
Like, going in 2001 season, what did you think of Josh Reed?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that was
you knew
it.
that was
correct,
a guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
I knew that if he stayed healthy, he'll have a phenomenal year based on how but not just him, the Jarrell Miles, Reggie Rock, like all those guys. We had a really good summer going into that season. We all were older. We all got to know each other. We all liked each other. We all worked together. We all helped each other. We were like a really, really close-knit family. So that helped the offseason, and no egos, and it helped going into it. Listen, the only ego on that team that year was Josh Reed, and rightfully so, and not an ego in a bad way, an ego where we knew he was a special player, and Jimmo, we all recognized him. It was like, let's get him going early. So that, when I say that, that's what I mean by that.
When you went into after either before your first year, I guess before your second year in the summer, when you really didn't know the personnel, you didn't really know these guys as people. And I'm asking the question because, man, they got 60-some-odd guys out there who have, a handful of spring practices, but they don't know each other. That's what the summer was about, getting to know each other. Different then, because now you're turning over. What's the most you ever turned over a roster when you were here? 20%, 30% of the team?
If that many.
Yeah, and now you're talking about turning over 2/3 of the roster. So
right.
this time becomes even more important.
Oh, 100%. And the things that Lane and that staff has done to try to bridge those guys together, whether it's softball games or former player panels, bowling, like the stuff that he's got to galvanize and bring them together so they're in space together and team bond. That's right. All the team bond and stuff that he's done is so super, 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 super vital. Painting, all the stuff that they've done, bringing their families together, because these guys come with their families now because it's so much, because of the money that's involved. So moms is there with them, uncles are there with them, grandparents are moving here with some of the kids, and so all of that is that bonding, man, is what's going to push them through. And the stuff that they do as a team, much time as they're spending together at ops, it's huge. You're right. It's way more important now. It's so funny because we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago about alumni. And, it's like now it's so much more important now for you to do alumni things because the guys that's coming in are here for 1 year. They're not here, the entire 4 years, so you really have a real big alumni base. Now it's like, a guy went to Ohio State, came to LSU, and, left here, went to the league, and now he's gone. It's like the alumni stat part about it, we got to make our alumni even that much more stronger because, you think about alumni bases now, they're going to start falling to the white side a little bit because guys are only coming there for 1 year and then they're gone. It's not you standing there 3-4 years and you leaving with guys that you came in with and all that. It's different now, man.
You're going to be part of an endangered group of guys that were here for 5 years, man. They're just not going to be and even with the new rule that you're going to be able to play 5 years, 5 years at the same school is a tough thing. I want to ask another question about, you'll just have to guess how it would have been in your mind, your quarterback going into your junior, senior year. Bro, you'd have had a lot of money in your pocket. I know you think about that every time I talk to the players. Like, man, you see Jordan Seaton, with online with he bought I don't know how many designer bags,
$50,000 worth of bags.
Yeah, money changes people. Okay, it has to, even if you don't intend it to. So now all these guys, when you guys were working out in the summer, there was a bunch of guys that had scholarship money, and look, I get that there were extras here and there. It wasn't like this.
Hell no.
Now all these guys got this kind
of money. Hell no.
They got this kind of money.
It was nothing like this, man. This is like this is like gold rush right now, man. It was nothing like this. Guys, listen, I tell a story all the time, bro. We used to look so forward to Fridays because Friday was gumbo and seafood day at Broussard Hall. You understand me?
Yeah.
And you could go back and get as much as you want. And you could take it home, put it to your dorm room, you know what I mean? That's how it was back then. Listen, man, it ain't no more. Listen.
These guys can buy gumbo for 500 people without worrying about it.
Listen, when we was in school, Handy, a vacation to us was damn driving to New Orleans. You understand? We was driving to Biloxi, and if we was fortunate enough to, hook up with an alumni or something and have a chance and go out there on the beach or something. These boys going to damn Cabo, and these boys they everywhere, man.
Yeah.
They everywhere, man. So it's different, man. The money has changed it a lot. The money has, you know what the money has also done too, though, is for coaches and just everybody evaluating. It has made it easier for you to really find talent, because the guys that are even talented guys, the money is making them lazy. And the money is making them not give the same effort and the same work ethic as it was if they didn't have it. So now when you go to just see a kid or view a kid, or when the kid comes train with you, you can see the difference in them. And now you got some exceptions. You have some kids that, yeah, they are 5 stars or whatever it may be, and they are this, and they still got that drive, that same work. Yeah. But it's few and far in between. It's so easy to identify the kids that are still hungry.
Kiffin got a question this morning about his NIL budget and the thing. These numbers are pretty closely guarded secrets, and there's even a suit now that is pending that would require LSU to release what they're paying these guys. But we know on the inside, the stories grow. People know who's getting what. The jealousy inside inside the locker room is where I'm going. How big of a problem? I mean, this is not the first year of this, but you working out next to the guy that's making 5 times what you are, and you don't think he's 5 times better than you. Right. How does that play out?
I think that falls into not just football, but just life itself, and also people that work in the corporate world and in any job. If you feel like, you're better than somebody, or you work harder, you don't take shortcuts, and you see somebody else getting the benefits of it that doesn't do the same, that doesn't work, that doesn't put it in. I mean, jealousy is always a part of it, going to spew into that. Now, what you would hope from a guy like a Levitz, from a guy like a Seton and these guys, you will hope that, because you guys are the quote-unquote the guys on the team that make the most money, as a quarterback, I used to treat my guys, my offensive line, treat them every Tuesday, thanks to TJ Moreham, but we used to treat those boys every Tuesday. We would go eat, do our thing, make sure that they were good. If there was a wrestling match or something going on, we'll all go to it together, make sure that they was taken care of. So that's the role of a Levitz, man. That's what you do to make sure that those guys up front, not just them, but also the guys on your team, are doing what they need to do for the team, but most importantly for you, because ultimately that makes you successful. So, it's a seat, and it's for those guys to establish that kind of culture so no one feels, even though people still are, but it's a little bit easier when you say, you know what, man, let me treat these guys, let me give each guy, it's crazy to say this, but let me give each guy $5,000 or something like that.
That used to, yeah. When you say it like that.
I just had to catch myself.
No, but it's true.
I'm talking about a college kid giving away $100,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he got $5 million.
Yeah, when you're in school, like somebody said, man, look, I need $20 till Friday when I get my check or whatever. Okay, but on Friday, you give me my $20
back.
Right,
that's
okay,
right.
Here's $5,000. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
No, you got it. You're all right.
And you're 19.
Yeah. We're here at the original Walk-Ons, Burbank, Ed Nicholson, Rohan Davey. I know, man. I know. Rohan Davey is our guest. We're going to be going back.
I came along a little too early.
Oh, I know. Matt Moscona's got some stuff for us at the bottom of the hour. Here at Walk-Ons Live and Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime. You get in a car accident like I did, it's just it's not fun. So pick up the phone, call 343-1111. You can go to the website at ocbrown.com and you can schedule it there. As soon as you pull up the main page, it'll direct you accordingly. It's easily. And that's what we never charge for the initial consultation. You get in a car accident, you need it. Everybody knows that, and we'll take care of that. We'll pay for your doctor bills, set up the doctor bills, just eliminate as much of the stress and inconvenience that goes along with this. And that's where Dana comes in, especially negotiating with the insurance companies, which there's an art involved in that. So do like I did. When I got into a car accident, Call our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. Your law firm for a lifetime, 343-1111 at ocbrown.com.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, because when it comes to retirement, man, you need some answers and some real solid information that you can move forward with to make a plan for you and your family. Talk to Phil Fontenot and his great staff. They've done a terrific job for us, where you're talking about whatever portion of your life that you're in, your income level. They'll tailor-make a plan. It's going to make you feel real good about where you're moving towards retirement, and that those surprises won't be there when that day finally comes. CoastalCapitalADV.com. CoastalCapitalADV.com. Sit down, have a conversation, establish all of those goals that you want to have achieved by the time you get to retirement age. CoastalCapitalADV.com to make an appointment. Coastal Capital Advisors, member FINRA, SIPC. Two statements this morning, one from Lane Kiffin and one from Nick Saban. I want to run by you here, Ro. Kiffin said that when we go to coach this offense, he's talking about him and Charlie Weiss, that as they move through year to year and quarterback to quarterback, it's a little bit different as they tailor it to the individual quarterbacks. Saban, after he made those comments, said the best thing about what Lane, I'm paraphrasing here, best thing about what Lane does is he makes it simple for the quarterbacks. So you tell me, from the quarterback standpoint, how he makes it simple and how you can make it simple even as you tweak the system from quarterback to quarterback.
Well, the biggest way and the first way is to get the quarterback's involvement, get him involved. You get his
communication level.
100%.
Yeah.
You and after and this doesn't happen right away. It happens once you get him there. He goes through the system or off season or whatever it is initially, and you see, like they know what his capability is, know what he can tolerate up here in his head first, right? Understand what checks he can make, understand what throws he can make, understand who he likes to go to. All that stuff comes into factor, and then it's up to the coaches to design that offense, that playbook around that guy. And the easiest way to do it is seeing what he likes, seeing what he can throw, have him involved when it's just Lane, Charlie, and the quarterback there. And that's how you found out when you put him on the board, you find out what he can do from what he can't do, and you tailor that thing around him. But you keep him involved. Even with the game plan going through week to week, he's involved. Yes, coach, I love that play. I love to throw that play. I love that. That reads easy. Oh, yeah, top down, I read that all day. Bottom up, not so much. So you just find out all the little things that he's comfortable with. And listen, that's the mark of any good coach, man, especially on the offensive side, is you got to make it easy for your quarterback. You got to make it. You see some of the things that we talk about all the time. Last year we said a bunch of times, they're giving them too much. They're giving guys too much. Whoever we was talking about, they're giving them too much. It's too much too early for him. They're trying to make him read full field reads. He's not ready for it yet. So I agree with that totally.
Give me it would seem like, if you don't play the game, and I didn't play at the college level, that all of this terminology that is in this offense would make it very difficult. We've heard, for instance, Drew Brees and Sean Payton's offense. Okay, it looks like a chemistry equation. You got so much terminology in there. I know it's not that difficult at the college level, but it seems like they do a lot of stuff, and it would be a lot of things you got to hold in your head as a quarterback.
It is. It's a lot on the quarterback. But that's why they get the big bucks.
Yeah, but how does he make it easy with all of that to be in his head?
Well, you don't have all that every game. Everything that they're doing is game plan segmented, and every week is different. So he's not responsible for the whole totality of the playbook. He may be responsible for 25% of the run, 60% of the passes, and going on so on and so forth, because you're not going to go through the whole thing. So how he makes it easy for him is week to week, picking out the things that he does well that goes against that defense that they're facing that week, whether it's schematics with the run game, the pass game, so on and so forth. And what he's doing with the verbiage is That's why the quarterback, you do, in this offense, you do have to be able to regurgitate because you're telling everybody what to do. And with our system, it's more signals because we're trying to put it down and go. So I actually believe that when it's signals and you're going at that pace, it's actually easier for the quarterback.
You think that he gives his quarterbacks the autonomy to check out in everything? Or are there times where just like, no, run this no matter what?
No, I think that because Lane is a very super, super smart when it comes to schematics and when it comes to percentages like Coach Saban was. So he knows that, okay, 3rd down and 6, I'm going to line up in a 2-by-2 formations, 2 receivers on each side, and I'm going to motion from my left to my right. So now it goes to a 3-by-1. Lane knows that, hey, when we do this and we motion, different if we line up in a 3-by-1, but when we motion to the 3-by-1, this is the look that we get 85% of the time. So he now knows if I motion to this, I'm going to get it 85% of the time. I want to throw my single receiver backside. You do it no matter what they do because you know you have man-to-man backside. So it's just those little things that he'll do that just takes the guesswork out of it for the quarterback because now you know 85%. Now I know, hey, I'm catching this ball, I'm keeping my eyes in the middle, and I'm going backside to my one-on-one.
They have a player in Trey'Dez Green who is a unique talent. We've seen Lane Kiffin exploit matchups before, but I don't know that at Ole Miss that he had a tight end, if you want to call Trey'Dez a tight end, split out receiver, whatever they end up doing with him. We'll call him a tight end, but he's going to do a lot of different things. Exploiting that matchup is kind of exciting to me. You got any idea? Just garden variety, getting Trey'Dez matchup favorability.
I think that is going to be as simple as it should have been last year, honey. You saw them last year try to go into it, but they run the same damn play just to a different side, right? So I think
they would run that star formation out to one side and Trey'Dez to the other, and it worked. It worked in the Clemson game. It worked at least one other game. That's the formation you're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
but it was nothing else off of it. I think with Lane, you're going to see a lot of simplicity with it, because listen, man. If we know this is a problem, everybody else in the SEC knows it's a problem too. The problem is now how are they going to go about stopping this? So I think that Lane's going to keep it very, very simple, because the thing is, it doesn't matter who they put on Trey. It's a mismatch. It doesn't matter. If you're bigger, he's quicker. If you're shorter, he's bigger. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think for him schematically, getting the formations down that they're comfortable with, meaning Levitt and him, and getting that continuity with Trey and Levitt, because that's the first thing you have to have. You have to have the bond and the continuity between those guys. And once that gets set, I think the creativity that Lane and Charlie Weiss bring to the table and the simplicity of some of it, just, hey, line them out. Just line them out there. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be. Yeah. They're going to understand exactly how to use it. And I think that they're excited about it because they haven't had a toy like this.
I was probably selling Daquan Wright short. He was Ole Miss's starting tight end last year. He caught 635 yards worth of passes, 39 catches, 635 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's a good year.
Excellent year.
Trey'Dez Green, Wright was not drafted. Okay, he's on the Philadelphia. He's an undrafted rookie. Went to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles had taken a tight end from Vanderbilt, Eli Stowers, in the 2nd round. So Wright's got to go make this team. Right. He's by no means given. He was able to put those numbers up. Trey'Dez Green is probably going to be a first-round pick next year if the season goes the way we think it will and he's healthy and all that. So if Daquan Wright catch 39 balls, 635 yards and 5 touchdowns, you can imagine why they're so excited about what Trey'Dez is doing. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to Tampa, and we'll check in with Matt Moscona as SEC Media Days is winding down. We're at the original Walk-Ons, Burbank at Nicholson, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yes, don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet in LaPlace, Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine, Go Chevrolet West in Plaquemine, and Go Ford in Waveland, Mississippi. My buddies Lee Carney and Nick Richard doing a wonderful job. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing, whether you're in the market for a new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle with extension of the factory warranty. We have a certified body shop as well, and our concierge service department. There's nothing like it. You talk about convenience on a different level. I don't just talk about the great vehicles from the Go Automobile Dealership family. My Tahoe came from Go Chevrolet in LaPlace. The Go Automobile Dealership family.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Walk-Ons Live at Lunch. Rohan Davies sitting in with us here this afternoon, and we go back to Tampa right now, check in with Matt Moscona as Lane Kiffin and now all the LSU players, I think, are done for the day. Scone, how you doing?
Hey, gents. Doing great. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Okay, we've heard most of the Kiffin stuff on from the main room, and we've gotten some quotes from some of the side interviews. But you got a chance to talk to the players today, so we haven't heard as much of that. Anything you pull of note from the three LSU reps here?
Yeah. That was I've known Trey'Dez Green a good while. That was as excited. He's got a great personality to begin with, but the thing he said to me that stood out most, he said, everything that Lane said to me, he's lived up to, meaning what they're going to do with him offensively. And I mean, we can't prop bet in Louisiana on college players, but if you can find a book that'll let you do it, I might take overs on Trey'Dez Green. We saw a good bit. We saw a good bit of it in spring, how much they used him in different spots. And he was notably excited about it. If he stays healthy, he's going to have a monster year. And it was interesting. First, I really got to talk to TJ Daugherty extensively. He just gushed about Lane and their personal relationship. Big reason why he followed him here. And Witt was Witt is all energy. He's always smiling. He's got a great attitude and disposition. But sometimes in an interview, Witt can give you he's polished too. He can give you the coach speak, generic answers, cliches. But he was awesome. I got to sit down with Witt. We'll air it on AFR. We sat down for 15 minutes, and he went into great detail about his injuries, and said he finally feels 100%. Said May is when he finally felt like he was 100%, not only on the football field but in life with his ankle, because he broke the same ankle twice. And so, Witt really feels like he's poised for a big year if he can stay healthy. But it's great to have him because he was not healthy. He told me in fall camp last year when we knew he would sit a practice or two and then practice. Well, he was still coming back from the ankle injury in the bowl game the year before. So at no point last year was he 100%. So it was really enlightening, man. They did a great job today.
I found it interesting that they sent Weeks and Daugherty. Now, the amount of production that they've got coming back at that position, at that interior linebacker position, Daugherty had 100 tackles and led the league last year. Weeks had 120 tackles 2 years ago, which I think led the league. If not, it was really close. And then Devon Keys, who I know is not there, was third in the league in tackles last year. When they started talking about divvying up responsibilities in there, I don't know if you got to that part, but
I did.
Man, that's 300 tackle guys, essentially 100 tackle guys that are all playing interior linebacker.
Yeah, I asked TJ Daugherty that exactly with the three of them primarily. And I asked him if his role was going to change any, and he said, there's subtle changes from what he did at Ole Miss and now, but all three of them are going to play. They're all going to play a lot in Blake Baker's defense in a lot of different creative ways. I don't think he was trying to give away trade secrets or anything along the lines of, but I did ask him specifically about that and them coexisting. And I don't think they're necessarily worried about taking snaps from each other. At least that's not how it was conveyed today. But those three have been super productive players the last 2 years.
All right. What did you make of Lane Kiffin, either in the main room or off to the side? I know that he answered a lot more questions outside of the main room than he did inside the main room.
Yeah, I think he filibustered for about 20 minutes, and then I think they got maybe 4 questions in the main room. And someone said, "Do you think he was doing that on purpose?" Absolutely, he was doing that on purpose.
That has been by design. Oh, yes, absolutely. That's PR 101.
I mean, he is Lane is a very calculated individual. I don't think he ever does or says anything without some purpose behind it. But I think there was a couple of things that maybe we were really, because we haven't talked to Lane since spring practice ended, and he has yet to do any local media one-on-one interviews. So I was definitely, we were all curious about why he's been off of social media. His answer I thought was pretty fascinating. It maps to what I've been told, that no one at LSU told him to get off of social media. And plus, I don't think anybody at LSU is telling Lane anything. But it was his son kind of challenged him, and he said, if you want to get me to do something, tell me I can't do it. So he deleted the apps off his phone, and he's been off social media for 2 months, and said it's been like a cleansing, almost like he equated it to like giving up alcohol or bad foods. Like when you eliminate bad habits from your life, it opens your eyes to positive things. So it was an interesting answer to that. And then Sam Levitt, his health and why he's not here. Lane said he's 100% healthy, and he's not here because he's leading the player-led practice in Baton Rouge this morning. Now, I do believe Sam Levitt's leading the player-led practice in Baton Rouge. I do not believe that's why he's not here. I think that maybe is the convenient excuse as to why they could brush it aside. But the contingent they did bring, I thought, did a great job.
I agree with you. I said the same thing about Levitt. If they'd have wanted to bring him, they could have brought him. It's not a big deal that they didn't. They didn't bring Burrow the first year. They didn't bring Daniels the first year. It's a nothing story. I don't know, Matt, if anybody at LSU told him to get off social media. Maybe they didn't, but I bet they were happy that he did.
Greg Sankey was. I don't know if you heard Greg Sankey's
Oh, you said give Knox a hug.
The Knox hug. Because they all have to consider that. And I've talked to LSU sports members of the sports information department, and they're in the communications department. Like this was early. It's like every day I wake up and I open Twitter. I'm like, I hold my breath. Like, what am I going to see? And it's just because it was a consistent thing. You wonder, are you going to have to put out fire? But I asked around the athletics department, did anybody tell him to get off social media? And was told flatly no. So I believe that was a decision he made.
And he said he deleted the app, so that means he's done with it, right? I mean, you can always put them back on, but
yeah.
Did you read that the same way? That hey, I'm done with social media for.
He'll be back.
Well, I'm worried about that too, Ro. At some point, he could get bored.
I had a colleague text me, said, I don't like boring non-Twitter lanes. This is what we signed up for.
Right.
I'm with you.
But I think at some point I'm the reason, and Lane has said this, the reason that he's been so active on social media is because it was a great recruiting tool for him. He was well known with recruits and their families, so when he would go on a visit, it felt like they knew him, and so it was sort of an icebreaker of sorts. So, I think at some point he will find his way back. I don't know if it'll be quite as robust as it was.
Yeah, I believe that at one time in his career, it was a positive tool, and it did open up some doors. I think that time is way past. I think Lane Kiffin is among the more famous coaches that are in college football. I don't think that anybody's discovering Lane Kiffin on social media anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably true at one time, but it's been a long time since that was there. Before we let you go, Matt, any other interesting conversations that you could share, non-LSU, the week that has been? I know we've had a hard time hooking up, but any of the other things that have really caught your attention over the 4 days?
I had a chance to talk to Oklahoma's new athletic director. They brought this. Some schools do bring their athletic director, replacing their longtime AD Joe Castiglione. I thought it was fascinating. He told me point blank they're looking to generate $50 million in new revenue on a recurring basis. It just puts on some perspective on the financial challenge that every athletic department is dealing with right now. A lot of talk here about Oklahoma I think Oklahoma is probably the consensus team here after Texas, Georgia, Texas. I think most people look at Oklahoma and they're like, defense should be awesome again. If Batir is healthy and churning second year in this offense, that's probably a team that doesn't just make the playoff, but could be a legitimate national championship contender. And then, of course, the Ole Miss and LSU relationship that's been a recurring thing every day since we've been here.
Well, LSU's having a little meeting, I understand, at the governor's mansion here in about a week and a half or so about restructuring things or revenue generation. So everybody's got the same issue. They all need more money. Money. All right, what's coming up on AFR? What you got coming up this afternoon?
I had my sit-downs with each of the three players. I had a sit-down with Mississippi State quarterback Kamario Taylor. Cole Kublik's on the show today as well. So lots of good stuff as we wrap up our coverage.
Safe travels home, buddy, and we'll talk to you when you get back.
Okay, guys. See you.
And we're brought to you by Total Maintenance. Their membership programs, the elite membership plan right now. All of your services are a part of this. It's a service twice a year, 50% off diagnostics, 15% off for repairs. When you sign up, your bonus credits, $200 in total maintenance bucks as your bonus credit. The 2 visits a year also include lifetime warranty on repairs and 50% off of your monthly fee. Right now, call 480-0007, 480-0007, 225 is the area code. Fewer AC breakdowns, lower your energy bills, year-round peace of mind. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance, because nobody ever wants to go to sleep hot. Back here at Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at the original Walk-Ons. Again, get your fantasy football drafts scheduled here at Walk-Ons with great specials during those drafts for your commissioner, bonus cards. You get your draft board set up. You get your private room, drink and food specials available during those times. So get it set up here at the original Walk-Ons Burbank at Nicholson. Roy, you're going to be a part of what we do this fall again, as you have been for many years. But I don't know when's the next time we get to talk to you before the Saints get rolling. So I want to get a couple things about that before we let you go. Tyler Shough.
Yeah.
What is realistic to expect of him going from year 1 to year 2? And obviously they've added some offensive pieces there to really help him out.
Man, I think all quarterbacks, anytime you're in a system, the first year is always going to be the toughest for you. Your second year in that system, you should see bounds. And from the way Shough finished the year, the way the Saints finished the year, and what they've done in the offseason, bro, I expect him to have a phenomenal year. I really do. They've put some pieces around him. That offensive line is going to be much better. We know what you're going to get out of the defense from the defensive side of the football, but the pieces that they've given him offensively, and now you're in that second year in that system, I expect him to continue the momentum from this past season, the last, 5 or 6 games, when you really saw him really start getting the offense, when you really saw him starting to getting the ball out to his guys. He has dynamic guys on the flank to go to this year, Olave Ship, you know what I mean? So I expect him to be a lot better and a lot more consistent in this system.
With all the players that they've added, the things that I think they should be able to do better, number one, I think that they should be able to run the football better. You brought in the top interior free agent offensive lineman in David Edwards.
Good back.
And you will get Eric McCoy back. Now, you got to pray that he stays healthy. It's 2 years in a row with him. But that's 40% of your offensive line and 2/3 of your interior. And then you add Travis Etienne. You should be able to run the football better. And then on top of that, you add what should be a number 1 wide receiver. If you think you've got a number 1 wide receiver, Chris Olave, and you are adding, again, you got injury problems, concerns with both of them, but you could have 2 number one receivers, and then you added 2 tight ends.
That's
one
right.
one a veteran in Noah Fant, who's a solid player, and another in Oscar Delpt is a rookie that a lot of people are really high on, to go with Juwan Johnson, who had a good year last year. Man, that's a lot, Ro. And he footed the bill, bring a lot of these guys out to California to go through what we were talking about with LSU earlier.
Yep.
You know, they're doing this at the
And
indoor
that's
facility.
big.
They went all the way out to California to
Yeah,
do this.
and that's big. That's big. That's what you want. Like you said, you know, guys coming together, guys coming in, new pieces coming in. We want to get together and get this thing going as quick as possible because we can't wait. So that's the same thing that Levis has to do with those guys. And Shuck's doing a phenomenal job of that, just by organizing that, putting together, footing the bill for it, and getting them guys out that's going to pay dividends for him. But I expect him to have a good year, Hanny. I really do. He's a high IQ guy, big arm guy. Has some mobility that he showed last year, has the ability to move around a little bit. And, I mean, I think that with the pieces around him, he should have a really, really good year. Now, I think he's going to have to, and the team itself is going to have to get better at situationally what they do in certain situations and get better in the situational football aspect of it for them. But as far as just starting the season out and being competitive, we should be right there.
You know, you said something earlier that I think really rings true here. You said that when the quarterback communicates with the OC and the coach and they talk about, we like this, we don't like this, sometimes those are easy conversations and sometimes not. They've had a whole off season now with Shuck. He's not going in there vying for the quarterback job. It's his. Kellen Moore's in his second year. So they can spend the whole off season going through, I don't like this.
Right.
Let's not do that.
Right.
I like this. Let's do this. Let's do more of this. Let's see what we can work off of this. They've had a whole off season now to
no
work through
doubt.
that.
Listen, and Kellen Moore is an excellent communicator from what I see thus far, from what I've seen with him and Hurts. Excuse me. I'm in Philly. He played a position. He understands. That's what I mean. That's why I always love playing for guys that have played, because they understand the little things. Sometimes you don't even have to tell them. They understand. They bring it to you anyway. And that's why I think, you even look at where Hurts and Kellen Moore had him, and they won all those games, Super Bowl, and so on and so forth. And Hurts got better every year with him and still had the knock of being a game manager, right? And you see some of those elements last year with the Saints, with Shuck, as you saw him grasping, getting. You see Kellen Moore feed him little. And I think that he'll be able to feed him a little bit more than he did with Hurts from what I seen from Shuck at the end of the season last year. Going forward, I think he picks it up a little bit faster. Regardless, I don't know what it was with Hurts as far as them pushing the ball down the field and the lack of doing that in Philadelphia, but I don't think that's going to be a problem here. I think they'll be able to push the ball down the field with those guys.
I could have used you when I'm arguing with Jimmy about Jalen Hurts. We've had about a 10-year discussion about that guy. I think he's going to miss A.J. Brown more than he thinks. I think he's going to, he missed Kellen Moore, J. Scott. They're not exactly the team anymore, but they'll figure that out. Ro, great to have you here, man.
Same, my friend.
Tomorrow we are at Rufino's. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Stay tuned for Hunt 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.